Have you ever wondered why old dishes were always so delicious, even though the ingredients were incredibly simple? In the 1950s, housewives always knew how to make the most of everything to create a perfect meal. From the familiar bacon grease jar to the versatile box of baking soda, they held cooking secrets that the current generation barely knows. Today, let's explore 25 smart cooking tips that have almost vanished from the modern kitchen. Whipped evaporated milk cream. In the 1950s, housewives found a wonderful alternative to expensive and scarce fresh whipped cream. A can of evaporated milk, found in every home, turned into a fluffy fake cream layer on pies or puddings. They only needed to chill the can of evaporated milk overnight until it was slushy, then whip it using a handheld mixer. The concentrated protein in the evaporated milk, when whipped at the perfect cold temperature, created a perfect cream layer. Sometimes mothers would add a spoon of lemon juice to increase the stability of the whipped cream, helping it hold its shape for many hours. The crucial secret was ensuring an extremely cold temperature. Some women even chilled the mixing bowl and the handheld beaters to achieve the fluffiest cream. This recipe became so popular that evaporated milk companies had to print whipping instructions directly on their product labels. Sadly today, modern cooks rarely consider this frugal trick, instead using expensive fresh cream or other convenient artificial cream products like Cool Whip. Bacon grease jar on the stove. During the rationing period of the 1950s, the old ceramic jar or coffee can next to the stove was the liquid gold of every kitchen. It contained precious and versatile clean fat, rendered from hot bacon grease. Smart women carefully filtered the hot grease through a cheesecloth to remove burnt bits of meat, creating purified fat that could be used for weeks without refrigeration. They used this grease for everything from frying eggs, sautéing vegetables, cooking green beans, frying potatoes, and especially for making cornbread with a crispy, delicious crust. Mothers and grandmothers passed down the grease jar through generations as a family secret, bringing perfect Southern flavor to the simplest dishes at no extra cost. This technique was abandoned in the 1970s due to cholesterol warnings, but some still maintain this tradition because they know its wonderful flavor is irreplaceable. Soup and casseroles. Campbell's cream of mushroom. Soup, or condensed canned soup in general, was the miracle ingredient that marked the birth of convenient and smart cooking in the 1950s. Just one can of condensed cream soup mixed with milk or broth could bind 4 cups of leftovers like chicken, tuna, or vegetables into a complete, delicious family dinner. This was the ultimate convenient solution when busy housewives needed a quick meal. Canned soup provided instant richness and flavor, completely eliminating the need to make a white sauce from scratch. The consistency of the soup was perfectly calibrated by skillful women, making complex casseroles easy in just a few minutes of preparation. You just needed to put it in the oven and then go do other chores while waiting. Beloved classic dishes like green bean casserole or tuna noodle bake all originated during this era, testifying to the resourcefulness of housewives in using commercial products to save time. Although many modern cooks skip this time-saving trick in favor of homemade sauces, canned soup remains a symbol of feeding a large family on a tight budget. Buttered burgers in the oven. For families without a charcoal grill or those who didn't want to mess up the stovetop, making butter burgers in the oven was a perfect, clean, and convenient solution for a delicious burger without smoke. Simply shape the meat, arrange the burgers on a baking sheet, and place a small pat of butter on top of each patty before baking. As they baked, the butter slowly melted, soaking into the meat, keeping it tender and juicy, creating an irresistible rich flavor that enhanced the quality of ordinary ground beef. The smell of sizzling beef and golden butter spread throughout the house, creating a cozy family atmosphere, an unforgettable culinary memory of a weeknight dinner. Baking in the oven allowed the housewife free time to mash potatoes, prepare vegetables, or fold laundry, optimizing her chore time. This trick gradually disappeared as McDonald's and TV dinners became popular, but the rich, buttery flavor remains a memory of a quick yet quality dinner. Meatloaf panade trick. The secret to a meatball or meatloaf that is moist, tender, and doesn't crumble when sliced is not using expensive meat, but the panade technique. Housewives during the Great Depression recognized this method when meat was scarce and expensive. Before mixing with ground meat, simply soak 2 torn slices of white bread in half a cup of milk. Then mix that mixture thoroughly into 1 pound of ground meat. Some also utilize leftover ingredients like crushed crackers or oats as a substitute. The milk-soaked bread created a soft, creamy texture. Most importantly, the starch from the bread absorbs and retains moisture, preventing the meatloaf from drying out or becoming dense after baking and avoiding crumbling when sliced. This technique allowed 1 pound of meat to feed 6 people, demonstrating admirable economy and ingenuity in ingredient preparation. Today's meatloaf recipes often skip this crucial step, resulting in a drier, denser loaf that crumbles easily when sliced, losing the smooth, moist texture. Savory Jell-O salads. The advent of the electric refrigerator allowed housewives to create appealing and unusual cold appetizers. The colorful Savory Jell-O salad was the peak of 1950s sophistication. Vegetable ingredients, and even seafood like shrimp, were suspended in glossy gelatin molds. Molds came in many intricate shapes, from rings to fish. Flavorless Knox gelatin, or Savory Jell-O, provided the base for creations involving cabbage, carrots, and sometimes mayonnaise, with famous dishes including tomato aspic or the perfection salad. Savory gelatin required precise temperature and time control. Too warm, the ingredients would sink. Too cold, the layers wouldn't adhere. Served on fresh green lettuce leaves, the appeal of this dish lay in its visual presentation and the demonstration of a mother's meticulous culinary skill at potluck parties. Unfortunately, this trend faded when fresh vegetables became available year-round. Now, many young people find this dish bizarre, even slightly repulsive, overlooking its formal elegance. If you also ate this colorful Savory Jell-O salad, please press the HYPE button so we know you are still here with these memories. Pressure cooker pot roast. Before the slow cooker was widely invented and popularized, the pressure cooker was the king of turning tough, cheap cuts of meat into tender, juicy meals in record time. A 3-pound chuck roast could melt in your mouth in just 45 minutes instead of the typical 4 hours of braising. Despite cooking quickly, the pressure cooker still maintained the quality of tough cuts of meat without requiring the purchase of expensive tenderloin. Housewives at the time also learned accurate timing, usually 15 minutes per pound of beef, to ensure perfect tenderness. The sealed environment in the pressure cooker traps steam, raising the temperature above the boiling point, thereby breaking down tough connective tissues quickly and efficiently, helping the meat achieve a butter-soft tenderness. This technique not only saved time, but also preserved nutrients better than long simmering, creating a true miracle with cheaper cuts like round steak or shoulder meat. Although the slow cooker replaced them in the 1970s, the pressure cooker remains a memorable item, and currently, modern electronic versions are gradually making a comeback as an efficient cooking tool. Instant pudding pies. The introduction of instant pudding in 1950, with instructions on the box, helped busy housewives create pie fillings in just minutes. Reducing the amount of milk slightly compared to the box instructions, then mixing it with whipped cream or Cool Whip increased richness and volume. For instance, a graham cracker crust combined with chocolate pudding created an instant French silk pie without complicated baking or elaborate egg tempering, saving mothers time and effort. Some women discovered that using 1 cup of milk instead of 2 created the perfect consistency for the filling, making it much firmer and easier to slice. The pie is set firmly after just 30 minutes of chilling, no cooking, no egg tempering required, maximizing time savings and ensuring a guaranteed, successful dessert. Today, many cooks might overlook the versatility of instant pudding, only using it for simple children's dishes, but this was once a truly convenient innovation that simplified pie making. Coffee can brown bread. Resourceful cooks back then never wasted anything, and they turned clean, sturdy coffee cans into ideal bread steaming molds. The coffee can was an item readily available in every home, and although traditional New England brown bread originally required a special steaming mold, using the coffee can helped popularize this specialty nationwide. Housewives mixed cornmeal, whole wheat flour, and molasses, often adding raisins for flavor. They then poured the batter into a greased 1-pound coffee can. The bread was steamed over simmering water for about 2 hours, creating a dense, moist texture, distinctly different from oven-baked bread. The metal can conduct heat more evenly than glass, ensuring the bread is cooked thoroughly from the inside out, preserving flavor for days. This method produced perfectly round slices, aiding in portion control. Breakfast only required 1 hot slice with butter or cream cheese. The plastic lid of the coffee can was also kept to conveniently store leftovers. This technique gradually disappeared when coffee packaging switched to plastic and vacuum-sealed bags, making us lose a versatile kitchen item and a unique bread-making tradition. Pilot light dough proofing. For housewives who loved baking bread, the gas oven with a continuously burning pilot light was a perfect proofing box. The pilot light provided a stable, warm environment, typically around 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, the ideal temperature for effective yeast fermentation, ensuring the dough rose evenly and achieved the best quality. Mothers only needed to place the covered dough bowl on the middle oven rack, and the pilot light maintained a stable temperature without drafts, ensuring a smooth and predictable rising process. Some even placed a pan of hot water on the lower rack to increase humidity, creating an absolutely ideal environment for yeast to thrive, simulating a professional proofing room right at home. Overnight proofing became easy and perfect without worrying about external temperature changes, reducing guesswork in the baking process. This method was effective year-round. Housewives no longer needed to search for a warm spot in the kitchen to proof their bread either. When energy-efficient appliances eliminated the pilot light in the 1980s, home bakers lost this natural and convenient feature. Do you still keep any items from the 60s like this gas oven with a pilot light? Share your story in the comments. Foil-lined broiler pans. A simple action that revolutionized kitchen cleanup, especially after roasting or broiling, lining the broiler pan with foil. Housewives used heavy-duty foil shaped to fit the upper rack and the lower grease catcher, catching all the annoying grease splatters and drippings. Foil was not just used for cleaning, its reflective surface also bounced heat back, helping food brown more evenly and creating a perfect crust for roasted meats. Moreover, the foil cleanly collected the drippings to make gravy or pan sauce, preventing the waste of rich flavor accumulated during cooking. This also minimized the time spent scrubbing hardened grease, giving busy mothers precious extra moments with their families. Foil became an essential kitchen item. Particularly, some housewives bent the edges to turn the pan into a covered roasting dish, keeping the food moist. Although modern non-stick pans might make this trick seem unnecessary, lining with foil is still an excellent solution for easy and effective cleanup. Baking soda for beans. In the 1950s kitchen, a small pinch of baking soda turned cooking dried beans from an all-day project into a much more manageable and quicker meal. Simply adding about 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to the soaking or cooking water, a small amount had a big impact on the chemical process. Dried beans, a cheap source of protein, took hours to soften, if only cooked in regular water. Baking soda creates an alkaline environment, softening the tough bean skins and reducing cooking time by nearly half. For example, navy beans could be reduced from 3 hours to just 90 minutes. Scientifically, baking soda breaks down the pectin in the cell walls, allowing water to penetrate faster, accelerating the softening process, and also helping to reduce gas-producing compounds, making the beans easier to digest. Housewives had to be careful not to add too much, as that would make the beans mushy and give them an undesirable soapy taste, so accurate measurement was key. Although the pressure cooker has largely replaced this method, it remains a useful tip for mothers cooking beans on the stovetop. Cream of tartar meringues. Cream of tartar is the mysterious white powder that holds the secret to sky-high, glossy meringue that never weeps or collapses. Just a small amount, about 1/8 teaspoon of cream of tartar per egg white, made a huge difference in the final texture and stability of the meringue. The acid in cream of tartar acts as a stabilizer, helping the foam structure create shiny peaks and hold its shape for hours, even at room temperature. It lowers the pH of the egg whites, helping proteins bond more effectively and preventing overbeating. This chemical hack turned temperamental egg whites into a perfect and reliable dessert topping for elaborate dishes like pavlova or baked Alaska. Some bakers also added it to angel food cake for extra lift and stability. Modern recipes often use vinegar or lemon juice as substitutes, but they do not match the reliability and stability that cream of tartar provides, making it an indispensable ingredient. Taming acidic tomato sauce. When tomato sauce was too sharp or sour, mothers and grandmothers didn't use sugar, but turned to baking soda. Just a small pinch, about 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda for the whole pot of sauce, stirred gently, reduced the sourness without adding sweetness. This trick was used to rescue sauces made from particularly acidic tomatoes or canned products with high citric acid content. Scientifically, baking soda is an alkali that neutralizes excess acid in tomatoes, eliminating the unpleasant sharp taste, much like using it to reduce heartburn. You'll hear a few short bubbles, then the sauce instantly mellows, providing a more well-rounded and balanced flavor without adding sugar. Unlike sugar, which only masks the sourness, baking soda actually changes the pH, bringing subtle chemical balance to the dish. But adding too much will create a strange metallic taste. This secret was passed down through many generations, especially Italian grandmothers. Unfortunately, modern cooks often automatically use sugar instead of realizing this simple and effective chemical solution for controlling acidity. Sift and mix dry goods. The traditional flour sifter was not just a decoration in the kitchen, it was once an essential tool for achieving perfectly soft, light, lump-free baked goods. Sifting flour before use helped ensure optimal quality for baked goods, especially since flour and other ingredients often become compacted or clumped due to moisture. For delicate cakes requiring high aeration, housewives would sift the flour, baking powder, salt, and cocoa together, sometimes even 3 times to create maximum airiness, helping the cake rise high and have a velvety texture. Sifting helped remove hard lumps, incorporated air into the mixture, and, importantly, distributed the leavening agent evenly, preventing bitter spots in the cake and ensuring consistent flavor. This also ensured accurate measurement, as sifted flour occupies more volume than compacted flour. Additionally, housewives could detect and remove weevils from the flour before they were introduced into the food. Although modern pre-sifted flour makes this seem unnecessary, hand sifting is still considered to yield the highest quality results for homemade baked goods. Wax paper cake pan liners. Before parchment paper became common today, wax paper was the leading solution for perfect cake release, preventing cakes from sticking to the pan. Some women would meticulously trace the pan bottom onto the wax paper, cut a circle, and cut strips for the sides. For the liner to work, the wax paper needed to be greased on both sides, the pan side to hold it in place, and the cake side for easy release after baking. This clever wax coating acted as an excellent barrier against sticking, while still allowing the cake to brown evenly without burning. This method required more preparation time, but yielded consistent results. Very helpful for delicate chiffon and angel food cakes. Wax paper was also much cheaper, just a few pennies per use compared to losing the entire bottom of a cake due to carelessness or unexpected sticking incidents. Today's bakers often rely on non-stick spray, which is not always effective, and have overlooked this meticulous traditional preparation step. If you love these tips, please like and subscribe to the channel to help us preserve these old cooking memories. Evaporated milk icebox treats. Canned evaporated milk was not only used for whipped cream, as mentioned, but also for no-churn ice cream and icebox desserts, very popular in the 1950s. They were partially frozen until slushy, then whipped to create a light, mousse-like base, combined with fruit, chocolate, or coffee for diverse flavors. Housewives realized that the high solid content in evaporated milk made the ice cream texture smoother and more stable than fresh milk, making it an emergency savior for tough weeks needing a quick dessert. Adding a bit of gelatin also created stable, sliceable cold pies, perfect for potlucks or family gatherings without needing a professional freezer, no cooking, few ingredients, yet perfect pies for hot summers. This recipe was a smart development from cooks during the Great Depression era. Although modern ice cream machines have replaced this technique, desserts made from evaporated milk still yield wonderful and memorable results, strongly flavored with childhood nostalgia. Condensed soup as gravy. Why make gravy from scratch, spending time and effort, when a can of condensed soup could provide instant quality and guaranteed successful gravy? Cream of mushroom soup became company gravy when slightly diluted with pan drippings and could be upgraded with a splash of wine or sherry to enhance the flavor. Cream of chicken soup was also used as poultry gravy, saving significant time in preparing turkey or roast chicken. Condensed soup contains a properly balanced thickener, completely eliminating the annoying problem of flour lumps, a common failure when making traditional gravy. The sodium content in the soup also enhances the meat flavor. For example, French onion soup plus beef drippings could create restaurant-quality au jus without having to spend hours simmering bones. And you could elevate your gravy by adding herbs, wine, or fresh cream. Housewives often kept various types of this soup ready for different meats and dishes, ensuring perfect consistency. No more overly thin or overly thick gravy at family meals. Potato chip casserole crust. Culinary innovation of the 1950s turned everyday potato chips into a novel ingredient. Crushed potato chips mixed with melted butter created a clever casserole topping, providing both crunch and appealing flavor right from the first glance. The standard ratio mothers used was 2 cups of crushed potato chips with 3 tablespoons of melted butter, then sprinkled evenly over the casserole during the final 15 minutes before taking it out of the oven, ensuring perfect crispiness. This technique also worked effectively with corn chips, crackers, or French fried onions. Housewives also experimented with different chip flavors like barbecue or sour cream and onion to create variety in flavor for the familiar casserole. The oil in the potato chips helped them brown nicely and retain the necessary crispiness, providing a textural contrast to the soft, creamy filling underneath, making it enjoyable to eat. This topping eliminated the need to prepare separate breadcrumbs, economically using up leftover bags of potato chips, and made vegetable casseroles more appealing to children. Today's cooks might consider this dish overprocessed, but they missed the easy flavor and texture enhancement this trick provided, a smart solution at the time. Broiler quick grapefruit sprinkle. This quick broiled grapefruit sprinkled with sugar provided essential vitamin C and fiber while gently and elegantly satisfying a sweet craving. And preparing this dish took less than 5 minutes, very quick and convenient, fitting the busy pace of modern family life. Cut the grapefruit half, sprinkle brown sugar and a little butter on top for richness, then broil in the oven for about 3 minutes until the sugar bubbles and caramelizes into a golden color. Cinnamon, nutmeg, or sherry could be added to enhance the flavor according to family preference, creating variety in the dish. The heat from the oven softened the sour fruit, turning it into a unique, warm, sweet, and lightly sour dish, much easier to eat than cold grapefruit. The broiling process also loosened the grapefruit segments, making them much easier to eat with the special serrated spoons of that era. This dish was often served in special grapefruit bowls, elevating simple fruit to restaurant status. And notably, the natural fruit bowl required no extra dishwashing. Starting the day with broiled grapefruit became a breakfast staple of the 1950s. This technique was effective year-round, as broiling improved even out-of-season fruit. Mayonnaise cake hack. This trick was born during the rationing period. Eggs, butter, and oil, essential ingredients for baking, became scarce and expensive, forcing housewives to resourcefully seek solutions. Mayonnaise completely replaced eggs, oil, and butter in one single addition, saving time and ingredients while guaranteeing the cake's success. The golden ratio passed down by housewives was 3/4 cup of mayo replaces 3 eggs and half a cup of oil, and it could be mixed in one bowl with just a spoon without complicated creaming. Scientifically, mayonnaise is perfectly emulsified eggs and oil, providing consistent fat and liquid, and the vinegar in the mayo also activates the baking soda, giving the cake extra lift naturally. Cakes made with mayonnaise had a velvety texture, never dried out, and actually tasted better over time after baking, an ideal characteristic for keeping the cake fresh under a cake dome. This recipe was passed down through families, and even commercial bakeries adopted it to keep products stable longer, a secret held over from the war. Even today, this trick still yields results superior to many traditional recipes, a testament to the mother's intelligence. Reviving wilted lettuce. This is the secret, absolutely no-waste trick to rescue lettuce that is about to wilt and soften. Simply pour cold water into a bowl, add a little ordinary white vinegar, then soak the lettuce for about 10 to 20 minutes, and you will see an astonishing difference. Scientifically, this method makes the lettuce crisp again immediately due to water absorption, and the vinegar also helps clean the leaves better than water alone, removing bacteria and residue. Before pre-washed greens and modern refrigeration, lettuce was expensive, and keeping it fresh was a major challenge for housewives without advanced preservation technology. Therefore, this small trick kept family meals fresh and preserved the budget most economically, ensuring every component was thoroughly utilized. This tip was gold in the 1950s, keeping salad crunchy without having to run to the market for a new bunch of greens, saving travel time and money. It truly symbolized the resourcefulness and anti-waste spirit of mothers of old, a valuable lesson for the current generation. Soda pop and cake batter. It sounds like a childish joke, but adding soda pop to cake batter was a sensible and surprisingly effective baking technique. Housewives often added a can of carbonated soda, perhaps cola or lemon lime, to a pre-made cake mix, completely replacing expensive fresh ingredients. This trick emerged when families lacked eggs, butter, or milk and needed a liquid substitute that both provided moisture and acted as a natural leavening agent. The carbonation bubbles in the soda acted as a leavening agent, helping the cake batter rise fluffy and moist without eggs or milk, creating an unexpectedly soft texture. Some smart women preferred using cola for chocolate cakes to enhance color and rich flavor, while lemon lime was used for yellow cakes so as not to spoil the color and delicate flavor. The resulting cake was soft, moist, required no buttercream, and was always loved at potluck parties for its uniqueness and excellent texture. Some bakers today still swear that this is the quickest way to get a light and airy cake, a convenient secret we have forgotten. Potato slices to rescue too salty soup. When soup or stew was overseasoned and became too salty, housewives often used raw potatoes to salvage dinner immediately. Just drop a few slices of peeled raw potato into the pot of soup or stew and simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. The potato works through an absorption osmosis mechanism, naturally and effectively drawing excess salt out of the liquid in the pot. After completing its task, the potato is scooped out and discarded, leaving a dish with a milder, more balanced flavor, ready to serve without adding more water. This trick was passed around and appeared in church cookbooks as a piece of kitchen magic, demonstrating resourcefulness in fixing cooking mistakes. This tip gradually faded as convenience and easier access to ingredients took over, and people often tended to just cook a new batch. Reheating cold biscuits with a damp towel. This is the secret to turning biscuits, rolls, or dinner rolls that have dried out overnight into soft, hot, freshly baked bread in just minutes. Mothers and grandmothers lightly dampened a clean kitchen towel, then wrapped the biscuits inside and reheated them in a warm oven for a few minutes. The steam from the towel acted as a humidifier. The biscuits or rolls softened again, warm and fluffy, almost as if they were just taken out of the oven, restoring the original perfect texture. This trick made the second-day meal feel like a first-class dinner in just 5 minutes, at no extra cost, and with no complaints from children about old food. It demonstrated attentiveness and the maintenance of a kitchen that never surrendered to waste, a lesson in valuing food. This is a simple gesture of care that has been forgotten in the age of microwaves and rushed meals, but it holds the warmth of motherly love and great ingenuity. Thank you for joining us in exploring these 25 great kitchen tips. We have lost these simple habits as modern conveniences have taken over, but the memories of that taste and resourcefulness remain in the minds of those who lived through that time. If you like the video, please like and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now watch the video. 25 cheap meals our grandparents ate to survive. To see what cheap meals our grandparents ate,